Hi class, my name is Dr. Duncan. I wanted to take an opportunity to put a face with the person behind the course. As you can see, this semester we have a very small class, so I think this would afford us the opportunity to really engage and with one another and speak with each other about it. So I want to give you a little bit about myself, just as you had to do via the email, and go over a couple pointers. So, about me, I am originally from Philly. I have been here at FTCC for 7 years. I teach all of our criminal justice classes. I teach main campus, Spring Lake, as well as online. So I'm trying to think. I like to do, in my online classes, I like to do video chats and video lectures just to try to keep the student engagement. Oftentimes when you're taking an online class, you become disconnected, or it's just like a robot. You're going in doing the assignments and coming back, but you may not really have had the opportunity to understand that material. So I do like to do lecture videos. I am also on Periscope. If you follow me on Periscope, I offer evening evening office hours. So sometimes I'll come on like 8 or 9 o'clock at night to speak with students, because I know if you're taking an online class, most likely you're working full time or you have other classes you're taking. There's a reason why you selected this online class, and sometimes the day hours are not conducive to your hours, so I try to offer an alternative for that. So you can follow me on Periscope as Dr. CJC, and I'll go through that later on and show you how to download that app. If you do not have Periscope, do not worry, because I also utilize Blackboard Collaborate, and I have actually scheduled our first Blackboard Collaborate for tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Blackboard Collaborate is where it's actually live streaming, and you can log on. You don't need to download any app. It's actually through Blackboard. Once you're in Blackboard, you would click on Tools and then Blackboard Collaborate, and you would just join that session. I think I've named it, I titled this one CJC 132 Checking In. So that's at 11 a.m. tomorrow. You can come online, check in. It will be live, so you'll be able to converse with me back and forth. You can see other students if they're able to do that, and I can also take a poll and see if it's better to do maybe Blackboard Collaborate in the evening. I'm willing to do it at as late as 9 or 10 if that's better for your schedule. So just let me know. So what you should have already completed this week so far: your entry point quiz, which was your 1-question quiz, just validating your attendance. It merely just stated true or false, you are enrolled in this class. That needed to be done to account for your presence for class. You also had your safe assignment, assignment, and this is so that you are informed and aware of what plagiarism is and how easy it is to detect it. So you just follow those directions as far as copying from Wikipedia, putting it into Safe Assign. Once you go into review it, you will see the percentage of what percentage of your paper is identical to another source. Then you have your course contract that you needed to complete, and that was all for this week. So make sure, if you have not done that, that you get that complete. Module 2 for next week. I do want to spend just a few minutes talking about Module 2 and what to expect. So this is Court Procedure and Evidence. Here is our textbook written by our lovely, very own instructor, Mr. Larry Vick. So I think this is a very easy to read and easy to follow textbook. So if you have not purchased a textbook, make sure you get that textbook. Module 1, we first dive in talking about the Constitution. What is the Constitution? What does this Constitution mean for us? So we look at it and we talk about from the time the Constitution was actually written to the time it was ratified, meaning actually put into effect. So there's a year time difference there that we look at from when our Constitution was written but then actually implemented. What are some things you need to take out of this particular chapter? One, when we talk about the Constitution is our document that affords us as United States citizens certain rights and certain guarantees. It talks about the structure of our government. It talks about how we have checks and balances so that one entity does not become dominant and authoritative in our particular country. We have 3 branches of government. So back up. We have 7 articles. The Constitution is actually comprised of 7 articles. The first 3 articles outline the duties and responsibilities of our branches of government. We have 3 branches of government. 3. You have your executive, your judicial, and your legislative. Executive, judicial, and legislative. We have three branches of government that I want to make sure that you understand what they're responsible for. So legislation, your legislative, is our legislators, the people who draft our laws. We have your United States senators, your U.S. congressmen. We have your North Carolina state senators, your North Carolina congresspeople, and those are people that are working on Capitol Hill in D.C. or in Raleigh to draft state laws or federal laws. So that's who's responsible for our legislative. Executive is just that, the executive. Who is our chief executive officer of our country? Who is in charge, or who is the head person? Executive refers to the president. So that article deals with the president and his or her responsibility and duties. And then the third is judicial, who's responsible for enforcing, interpreting the law. Judicial, our court system. So our court system. So make sure you understand those three components of our system: legislative, executive, judicial. Be able to identify which article of our Constitution aligns with the responsibility of that particular entity. So, for example, Article 1 talks about what? Judicial, executive, or legislative. Article 2 talks about what? Judicial, executive, or legislator. So I want to make sure that you're able to discuss that in detail and outline that. So with our Constitution, we have several amendments. I want you to be able to tell me how many amendments do we have in total in our Constitution. And the first 10 amendments are referred to as what? The first 10 amendments are referred to as what? And why are they referred to as that? Whatever your answer is, why? Now, there is a correct answer there, but I'm not going to tell you that one. I want you to actually get that. So to be able to say what the first 10 amendments are referred to as and why they are referred to that, make sure you can actually identify that. Procedural due process. I want you to be able to understand that what an example of what procedural due process is and what is due process when we go through that, and what is a grand jury. My apologies, I'm getting tongue tied. So these are some of the things we are going to talk about in chapter 1 of this chapter, solely talking about the Constitution, what really provides the foundation for how our country is to be ran, and how we should operate, how our country is constructed and how we operate. So I want you to make sure you look over that and go over some things in chapter 1. Easy read. I think you will find this class will be an easy read, easy to follow, to come through and interpret. Some things I want to highlight. So in each module you have the module self-assessment, which is a non-graded assignment. However, although it's not graded, it is extremely beneficial to actually complete that in preparation for your quiz, for your actual quiz. So again, if I were you, I would complete that in preparation for your actual quiz. I'm looking through to see if there's anything else I want to highlight really quick before our lecture next week. So I usually try to come on and do a lecture every couple of weeks. However, if I get a number of questions or something, if you're not understanding something, I will come on sooner and do a lecture. When I am doing video lectures, although this is recorded, if I make a mistake, if I stumble, if I start stuttering, if my phone rings, if somebody walks in, I do not re-record. My theory behind it, or my logic behind it, is if we were in class and I made a mistake or something happened, I can't retract it. So I am not going to put a video out there for you under the assumption that, oh, I've sat here and this is perfectly fine-tuned, everything's articulated correctly. No, it's not. So I want to give it to you as real as possible, who I am and who I'm coming from. So you will have me on here sometimes. I'll be like, where was I at? But I think that's just being very candid with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Like I said, we have a really small class, so I really think that we can get into it with each other, talk to each other, understand a little more. Now, this is not my only class. This class is small, but then I have 2 other online sections of different courses that have 40 students in it. So definitely not saying that all of my classes are small, but this class is small. I'm trying to go over, make sure you understand. Let's see. Module 2 opens on August 24th and runs to September 7th. I would not wait to the last minute. If I were you, I would definitely go ahead and do that right away. So You have your reading assignment questions that you would do and your module quiz questions that you would do. With your reading assignment questions, make sure you try to answer in complete sentences when you're actually answering those questions. Make sure you try to answer in complete sentences. I think that is all that I have for you right now. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, call, or stop by the office. And I will be chatting with you all soon. Again, tomorrow at 11 a.m. If you are interested, I encourage you to try to log on to our Blackboard Collaborate. I'm not certain if that will archive the course once I do that, so I'm going to find out. But if you log on at 11, log into your Blackboard, go under Tools, and click on Blackboard Collaborate, and then you'll see where I have a session there, and click Join. We can kind of navigate that together and figure out how that's going to work if they actually archive it once it's complete. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope to be back probably next week going over some more in Chapter 1, talking a little bit more about our Constitution. Hopefully you find those answers to the questions I just asked you. Again, I wanted to know the first 10 amendments I referred to as what and why. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.